TGR. What's up, guys? It's Rudy! And if you read the title of the video, you know exactly what this video is about. We are going to be talking about the first 10 about Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now, Onyx is not here, and this is because he actually did not play the game. He actually canceled his pre-order a few days before the game was released, all within reason, and I will talk about that later on in the game, or in the video, but I do want to go ahead and say that this first 10, I hit 10 hours in Pokemon a while ago, honestly a few weeks ago, but it was by far one of the hardest first 10 to write about. Not because I am, completely being a negative Nancy or because I'm singing its praises at the top of mountains. It's because I had to deal with some personal opinions. I've been playing Pokemon essentially since the first gen came out. I started out with blue version, went with yellow version, and from there got every single iteration that came out except for a handful, or less than a handful. But I went into this with positive thoughts. I went into this saying, hey, I'm not going to pay too much attention to what everyone else is saying because I want to experience the game firsthand. I want to go ahead and see if everything that everyone is saying will actually affect my personal experience with this game. And I put my thoughts together and created my own opinion. And I do have some links to things in the description below that will go ahead and pretty much validate everything that I'm saying. I'm not making things up. This is things that I experienced firsthand, and I just wanted to go ahead and share with you all. So let's go ahead into the first 10. Now, if this is your first time watching one of our first 10, I do want to let you know that I kind of changed the formula a little bit. Normally, we do talk about gameplay, story, audio, and visuals, but I actually switched it around. I'm actually going to be talking about the story, the audio, then the visuals, and finally the big kahuna, the gameplay. So let's go ahead and get into it. So in regards to story, it's a basic Pokemon game. There's no other way to actually go about it. Pokemon, you're a kid, you want to go ahead and be the Pokemon master. You want to, pretty much go through all the gyms, beat the league, and become the Pokemon champion of your region, whatever it may be. In this, Hop is essentially your quote-unquote rival, but he is very cheerful. He's kind of one of your friends that you don't want to have around, but he's around anyways, and pretty much strikes the same pose every time that he sees you. I didn't get too deep into it. I think I beat 3 or 4 gyms, and actually, yeah, I beat 4 gyms, and it's one of those things that you know where the game is going. The story is light. It's just like how it was in previous titles. Honestly, I feel like Pokemon Sun and Moon was one of the few titles that went ahead and actually really changed the gameplay, at least recently. But aside from that, that's pretty much it. That's a Pokemon game. In regards to audio, I feel like audio is one of those categories where I'm kind of like, I am happy with what I got, but I wanted more. And I want to talk to you about this because in regards to the music is on point, especially when you're in the middle of a battle and you're in the middle of fighting a gym leader. You go ahead and go through all their Pokemon except the last one. They Gigantamax that final Pokemon, and the crowd goes nuts and they start chanting. It's really cool. If you've ever been to a soccer game or a football game, if you're overseas, that chant that kind of just happens when pretty much the hardcore fans start cheering on, that's the feeling that I got playing this game, and that's a good thing. It kind of just, I was like, yes, this is awesome. The battle's actually happening. Things are being epic. And I don't know. I've never felt that way in previous titles whenever I was fighting a gym leader. Some of the music is epic in some of those battles, but this time around, it hit home for me, and I dug that. I really enjoyed that. Now, in regards to the battle cries and things like that from the Pokemon, their actual cries, it was weird hearing Pokemon from 1st gen, 2nd gen, and 3rd gen, and so on and so forth, and slowly kind of like I don't know, it felt like it was 8-bit and then changing to what we were listening to this generation, Gen 8, with a lot of the HD cries from the Pokemon. It felt kind of odd, and I know that I may be in the minority in that, but it just felt really weird. One thing that I did notice that I wanted in this game that we did not get was voice acting. I thought that, hey, at least, during the cutscenes, get some form of voice acting, and I don't mind reading text, but it was text throughout the entire time. You have all this this epic music, you have so many things going on, and it's just text. So I kind of wanted that, but at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is. You couldn't really change it. You couldn't really do anything about that. And it was a nice. It would have been a really good. I don't know, just a really good add-on. Aside from that, I didn't really have too many issues with the audio. I was pretty much playing with my headphones on the entire time while I was recording stuff and to show you all. But I don't know, it is what it is. Now, in regards to the visuals, I'm not going to get too deep into the controversies behind it at this point in the video. I will talk about that later on in the video. But the visuals that I got, despite the controversies, I said, hey, I'm going to put my blinders on. I'm just going to go ahead and play this game and experience it firsthand. And this is what I surmised. If you played one of the recent 3DS games, whether it's X and Y, Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Moon, and then played this, Sword and Shield, it feels like you're playing Sword and Shield. While you're playing Sword and Shield, it feels like you're playing a high-res version of one of those 3DS games. And that's not a horrible thing. It's just, it feels like they could have done better, I guess would be the best way of saying it. The animations that were there were stiff with some Pokemon. They were much better with others. And I don't know, the fight animations, I get it. There's only so much that you can do with so many Pokemon, but it just felt like it was lackluster in a lot of situations and in a lot of scenarios. Aside from that, you know, that's pretty much it. The towns, they were lush and everything like that. The wild areas, they looked as good as they could. I'm sure that at one point you may have seen a meme where they took the trees from Ocarina of Time and they compared it to the trees in Pokemon Sword and Shield trailer, I believe from E3. But it's one of those things where when you have that comparison, that kind of makes you go, I wonder what's going on, because those are the details, especially in the wild areas. The wild areas was one of the highest, you know, tutored features in this, and it felt a little lackluster. It felt like there was a little bit more that could have been done, a little bit more polished, so to speak. So that's just me. Aside from that, you know, everything else about the visuals they're okay. They're nothing to call home about. Like I said, feels like you're playing a high-res 3DS game. So it is what it is. In regards to gameplay, if you've ever played a Pokemon game, you are not going to be surprised by anything. This is the same formula that we've had for generations, and by generations I mean Gen 1 through now, with the obvious, you know, quality of life improvements that were there in the battles. There isn't too much that has changed, and that's for better or for worse. If you love the old battle system that's there with the minute tweaks that have happened throughout the generations, then you're in luck, because it's exactly the same as it was before. Now, if you wanted something new, I'm sorry. The only thing that's really new is Gigantamaxing within the battles, and I'm not even talking about raiding. I'm just talking about the battles, the single-player campaign. That's pretty much it. There isn't really anything else that's new per se, and that kind of sucks, because this is the first foray into a home console, and I kind of want it a little bit more, whether it's shaking up the formula a little bit. One of the things that I didn't like is when you get to the wild areas, you start to see all these Pokemon going around, and you're just like, oh my god, like it's awesome. Don't get me wrong, it's cool. I love it, because you kind of just walk out and there's this huge area of all these Pokemon walking around, and you can you know, just capture all of them. But when you run into a Pokemon that overpowers you, you can't catch them. And I feel like that's kind of a downside. And if you have caught them, let me know in the comments below, because when I was trying to catch them, didn't happen. You know, pretty much anything and everything that I could do to catch that Pokemon didn't happen. So it's odd, because in the past, whenever you ran into a high-level Pokemon, you could catch them. They just wouldn't listen to you until you got the appropriate badge that would allow them to respect you, or whatever it may be, to listen to you. And I kind of wish that they had done the same thing in this game. I don't know why they decided to go ahead and do that. So I don't know. Aside from that, there are some quality of life improvements pretty much all throughout the game. One of the biggest ones that I saw was being able to access your PC anywhere you want throughout the game. And I feel like that's an awesome thing, especially because of the fact that back in the day, and I'm talking about the old generation Pokemons, you had to go ahead and go to a Pokemon Center and talk to your PC, or well, access your PC and get Pokemon through there. that's something that pretty much took you out of the game. And if you were kind of like going through things and you were like, crap, I'm running into, I don't know, a fire type gym leader, I need to go ahead and get, you know, water, then, you know, that would go ahead and kind of like, you know, cut the immersion. You would have to backtrack, get to the nearest Pokemon Center, and then come back. It's a minute thing, but being able to access that straight from the get-go is pretty awesome. So I commend you, Game Freak, for actually doing that. That's actually pretty awesome. Aside from that, the traveling from one place to the other is pretty awesome. I have to commend you guys also for that, because fast traveling is always cool, but it also derails you a little bit from actually leveling up naturally. The EXP share, I'm not a Nuzlocker. If you don't know what Nuzlocking is, it's essentially if your Pokemon faints, they quote-unquote die. So it's kind of like a Fire Emblem style or strategy game style, where essentially once your Pokemon dies, you let them go, or you stop using them altogether, and you go ahead and the first 6 Pokemon that you catch, those are the Pokemon that you have. And I can link to a whole rule set about Nuzlocking, but the whole EXP share bit kind of makes that a little bit easier, I guess, to be the best way of saying it, because you weren't supposed to use EXP share in the Nuzlocke rules. So for a lot of people that do that, that's definitely there. I haven't tried turning it off, so if you can turn it off, let me know in the comments below. I'm not a Nuzlocker by any means, but I know Sean is, so I'm sure he'll enjoy it as is. But that's pretty much it about gameplay. To summarize, if you're into the old school Pokemon and you love the formula the way that it is, congratulations. If you wanted something new, I'm sorry, you're not going to find it in this game. It's just the battle system is whatever it is. Oh, I wanted to talk about the raids. Raids are actually pretty awesome when they work. If they work, it's like the best experience ever. It's really cool, and gives you an opportunity to catch, you know, specific Pokemon. But aside from that, you know, it is what it is. It's just, you know, a raid that you can do, and you get your friends or whoever it may be, and boom, and you're done. But that's pretty much it. Now, my final thoughts are this. In regards to Pokemon, I am a longtime fan. I've been playing since Gen 1. I was Team Blue, Blastoise all the way. But aside from that, I don't know, like eventually throughout all of that, the battle system and everything that was there and the leveling up just became really boring, because it was essentially the same game that we had played throughout the years. So if you are a longtime fan, and like I said, if you're expecting something new, you're not going to get it. You're going to have to go ahead and go in this knowing that. And if you are a longtime fan, you probably already have the game. You know exactly what it is. If this is your first time playing the game, or if this is your first Pokemon game, congratulations. This is an awesome experience, and I'm sure you will enjoy it for what it is. But I myself, who have been playing Pokemon since Gen 1, found myself bored. I would go ahead and message Onyx, and I would just say, hey, like, I fell asleep last night playing Pokemon, and I did that more than once. It's just one of those games that I pick up and I start playing, and I just get bored so easily, and I just pass out. It's sad, because Pokemon, it has the potential to really be an amazing game, and I don't know, I feel like there's a stagnant in the evolution of the cycle, or the evolution of the gameplay and everything that's there. So I don't know, that's just my opinions in regards to that. Now, in regards to Dexit and everything that happened, I did, like I said, link to some stuff down below. One of the things that I wanted to go ahead and talk about was Arlo. He went ahead and kind of did a lot of research. I think it's like a 30-minute video, and he breaks down everything and talks about everything that happened leading up to the release. And because he's a Nintendo fan, just like many of us, I'm a Nintendo fan, Onyx is a Nintendo fan, and he's a Nintendo fan, and just like all of us, we want to see Nintendo succeed, but at the same time, we want Nintendo to give us the best of the best. And I know that Game Freak has their own thing and everything like that, and the Pokemon Company has their own thing, but at the end of the day, Pokemon is the highest grossing media franchise in the world. They make close to $100 billion a year. So, and that's B with a B, or billion with a B. Like it's it's insane how much money they make, and it's gross. I know that there's net that goes into play. There's certain costs that come with running a business, but at the end of the day, you should be able to afford the extra developers to hire them, whether it's an outside company, internal, whatever it may be. You should be able to afford the manpower to make this happen, to whether it's adding the additional Pokemon, actually creating the 3D models that you said you were going to create, actually using new animations for Pokemon that you said you were going to do, things like that. Especially when you know that your profit margins should at least be 50% more, since you're charging, instead of $39.99 for a game, you are now charging $59.99 for a game. So, and this is US dollars, of course, but it's one of those things that I look at and I'm just like, yeah, that feels kind of icky. It feels kind of like No Man's Sky. It feels kind of like Watch Dogs. They went ahead and they said that they were going to do one thing on the record, and it seems like they did something else. Now, modders, they went ahead and said, you know what, screw it. They don't want to add Pokemon. I'm going to add the Pokemon that I want in this game. When they went ahead and started looking in the code, they went ahead and they saw that a lot of the Pokemon that they had actually decided to remove from this, the over 50% of Pokemon that they decided to remove, was actually in the code. So at one point, they had initially said, yeah, we're going to put all the Pokemon in this, and they decided not to. Now, I don't know if that's because of crunch. I don't know if that's because of them just being lazy or just wanting to go ahead and keep profits as high as possible. I don't know, but that's just lazy in my eyes, especially, like I said, the highest grossing media franchise in the world. Higher than Marvel, Disney, higher than pretty much everything. Hello Kitty, Dragon Ball Z, whatever it may be. So I don't know, and I didn't mean to like rant or anything like that. I didn't want to do that. It's just there's a lot of things that I saw that left a bad taste in my mouth, and I went into this game wanting to play without any of that. And the more that I played, the more that I realized, holy crap, all of the stuff that people have been saying is true. Everything is there. And that doesn't hinder my recommendation on anything. I would definitely recommend this to people, but if you're somebody that's played Pokemon before in the past, I would wait for a sale. I wouldn't get this outright. If you are somebody that is brand new to the series, then I would also wait for a sale. Whether it's $50 instead of $60 or 45 instead of $60, just anything aside from full price. I don't think I kind of have buyer's remorse a little bit just by playing the game. But like I said, this was one of the hardest first 10 that I have ever done. Onyx didn't even buy the game. He was like, screw it, I don't support what they're doing, and I'm gonna vote with my dollars. And I respect him for that, and I kind of wish I'd gone the same route in some instances, but I am glad that I'm playing this game and kind of experiencing it firsthand. But aside from that, let me know what you think in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video, give us a thumbs down if you don't like the video, subscribe to the channel, that way you can stay up to date and hit the little bell, and join our Discord. Honestly, we talk there all the time about all sorts of stuff, and that way you can go ahead and stay up to date with everything that we're doing and talk to us offline about video games in general. But aside from that, guys, Ginger and I, the TG Cat, who's passed out over here, we'll see you on the next one. Deuces.
Hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more and stay up to date, subscribe, hit the little bell, and join our Discord.
If you want to support the channel, please check out our Patreon or hit the join button below. As always, thanks for your support and thanks for watching.